Who am I? My name is Bowman. I work for Tablet Academy. I'm a Google Certified Innovator and a Google Certified Trainer. So I do a lot of work with schools, looking at how they can use G Suite and use Google for Education to really enhance the teaching and the learning that takes place in that school. One of the more recent projects I've taken on is looking at virtual reality, looking at Google Expedition and a few other things. And the impact that we've seen in schools is massive. If you've seen Expeditions yourself, you'll know it's incredible. If you haven't seen it already, I've got 2 viewers that I borrowed from the Expedition stand over there. So if anybody would like to try it, if you haven't already, if you have tried it, just pass it back. If you do want a longer try or ask any more questions, they're over there demoing Expeditions at the moment. This session is going to be all about how we've used virtual reality in schools, how we've used Expeditions in classrooms, and different examples of some of the projects that we've done. So, quick overview. We're going to look at Google Expeditions, we're going to look at a few case studies. We're also going to look at a project where we've been using Google YouTube 360, and then look at ways that you can bring virtual reality into your classroom and see your options there. So, a little bit of background, if you don't know already. The Pioneer program, Google Expeditions Pioneer program, began about a year and a half ago. I was lucky to be one of the schools that selected back in November 2015. And when they came into our school, straight away, I thought that is going to be massive. The kids, every single student in the class were gripped, they were paying attention, and it's quite a difficult school, to be honest. The students in there will just engage straight away. Because it's different, possibly, but I believe in the long term, we haven't seen these effects yet, but I believe this will become part of everyday classroom life. Following on from the Pioneer program, Google released the Expeditions app, initially on beta, and then obviously on iOS and Android as a full mainstream app. You can download that app on your phone, you can download it on your tablet, on your iPhone, iPod Touch, any iOS or Android device, you'll be able to download the app. Additional to the app, Google maintain a spreadsheet of the expeditions, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it contains all the expeditions that are available with a description of each of the locations and a description of what it's about. So this is really useful as a teacher. If you're looking for a specific topic but can't find it in the app, you can search this spreadsheet and you may be able to find it that way. And then following on from that, we also have lesson plans that are shared on the TES website. So you just search for Google Expeditions and you'll see all the lessons that include Google Expeditions. Now, normally, the way that you come about a lesson and start planning your lesson, you wouldn't think, I want to use virtual reality, what can I teach with it? That seems a bit backwards. It's often a question that people ask though. This is really cool, what can I teach? Using TES, you can search for what you want to teach. It might be Pythagoras. And it may be that you're searching for Pythagoras and a lesson plan pops up that's using Google Expeditions. So TES is a really good way to have a natural workflow to find lessons. So, a few case studies. I've been working with schools using virtual reality since about last June, so about 6 months, 7 months. And one of the earlier projects that I did was with a school called Lidget Green Primary School. These are based in Bradford. And the teacher from the school spoke to me and she said, we want to give students an idea of the scale of the solar system. We want them to know where the Earth is, what other planets are around, where the sun is, all that kind of thing. And the reason for that was, it was their rewards and behavioural system. So they were positioned on one planet, and if they behaved badly, they moved to a different planet. If they behaved well, or they did something good, they moved to a different planet. So they wanted to give the students an idea of what the planets were. So we took 11 classes in one day out to space, explored the solar system. They were remembering the names of the planets, they were remembering the order, because they were all so gripped, they were paying attention. So that was a really fascinating experience for them. And I believe, so I'm told, that their behavioural system is working really well. I don't know whether it's because they had that virtual reality kick at the start or not, but it worked. Another project we did was with a school called Telford Park School, which is based in Shropshire. And the aim of this project was to introduce students to the topics of volcanoes. There is, if you know the app, the Expeditions app, there is a few different expeditions about volcanoes. The one on the top there is really, really useful. It includes different sectors of the volcano. You've got the magma chamber, you've got the lava where it goes on the top, the rock cooling, and it also looks at different locations around the world of volcanoes. This school had some really challenging students, and you can kind of get the sense of that as you're walking through the school. Within each of these sessions though, the engagement, again, maximum. They were really, really interested in the content. So we're using this tool as a way to pull them in. The teacher is then explaining, because in this particular session, we provided the equipment and set it up, and the teachers led the activity. So the teacher was talking to the students about each of the areas that they need to know for their geography tests. And there were so many children, so many students answering questions that the teacher said they normally just sit in silence or chat to their mates, and that's about all you get. So it was really, really powerful for them. We also used in this project a video, a 360-degree video of a volcanic eruption. So all the students, we had 30 students in the class watching the same video at the same time, and we had the sound coming through the speakers. It's difficult to imagine what it's like to be at a volcano. I've never been. Anybody here been to an erupting volcano? Can you imagine the health and safety forms you would need to fill in to do a school trip to an active volcano? It would be ridiculous. But with this, apart from the heat, we get the sound, we get the vision, you feel like you are there, apart from the actual temperature. It's quite funny to watch as the rocks fly towards you. You'll see them all, whoa, what's going on? Unfortunately, I didn't have the 360 camera then. I could have recorded that and showed you that video. Another project that we did was back in November. This was a project for Remembrance Day. Paul Academy in Cornwall. They wanted to give students an experience of what life was like during World War I and World War II. And we actually ran this session on Remembrance Day, Friday, November the 11th. So we went through a few different locations. We looked at the trenches. We looked at Menin Gate. There's a few different pronunciations of this word. You probably correct me. Ypres? Maybe? Ypres? Menin Gate there, a very famous spot to do with World War I. And we also looked at a refugee camp in Lebanon to look at how wars affect people today. So again, we had another 360 video, the one that you can see a little clip of at the top there. After that video, the students were really, really excited. They were hyperactive. A few of them were saying, that was really scary because people were getting shot in front of you, and you didn't see all the gore and things, but you could see that they were dead. And that brought home what war is all about. Following that, when we went to Menin Gate, suddenly the mood changed dramatically. And this was really, really powerful because it's very emotional. You feel like you're standing at this graveyard. We had a little bit of music as well to change the mood. And then when we look at Lebanon, some of the students are saying to me, that's really sad. We're looking at children the same age as them. We're looking inside their house, we're looking inside their school, and it's really, really poor conditions. Now you can show that in pictures, you can explain to somebody, but when you put somebody in that environment in virtual reality, they can look around, they can look at things that interest them. One of the common things they said was, oh, they've got a TV. Yeah, I've got a TV, yeah. It's not like a flat screen, 42-inch Sony or anything like that, but they did have a TV. They had a rug on the floor, and then it was just like concrete walls. They had their tea on the floor with very poor conditions. So that, the history teacher, the head of history, was explaining to me how much of a difference it made with those students. He thought it was really powerful. And we've got a video to show you about that project.
Now on Remembrance Today pupils at a school in Cornwall have been exploring the battlefields of World War I without even leaving the classroom.
Year 8 children at Poole Academy were given virtual reality headsets to experience what it was like for soldiers in the trenches. John Danks has the story.
What are these people doing? They're cooking, good.
A 360-degree view of trench warfare. And so realistic, it's worth checking you're not really there.
What country do you think that gun was made in?
Germany!
They've loved it. Generally the classes have been quite small, but those that have had it, the minute the goggles went on, they immersed themselves in the experience. And for many of those children that was a different way of learning which really brought the subject matter of the day, Remembrance Day today, to the forefront for them.
Awesome. Every time you feel like you're there and you get to learn more, like see what actually happens.
Oh, it felt really fast because you weren't used to them, but you do get used to them after a while, and it's just really clever.
We're going to have a look at a video of a battle scene. Let's see how you feel while you're watching this video.
I really like the virtual reality headsets because it felt like you were actually there, and it was like really realistic. You could see all the people, like when they was cooking food in the trenches, and all the tanks moving and the bullets in the air.
We're now going to go over to Belgium, to Ypres, to a place called Essex Farm Cemetery. We're going to go to somewhere else, also in Ypres. This is outside of Menin Gates.
A unique way to experience the past and the true realities of war. John Danks, BBC Spotlight, Poole.
Come on.
Now War One without even leaving the classroom.
There we go. Yep. Next slide, please. Oh, if I click there. There we go. Sorry about that, technical hitch. Okay, next case study. We worked with a school called Goreswood Primary School in Runcorn, and one of the sessions there was to stimulate a piece of descriptive writing. Now, for this, we used another 360 video, and this one produced by Google Spotlight. This is the first video that Google Spotlight have created that uses real actors. Before that, it's always been virtual characters, computer generated. And I was watching how they made this video, and it took around about 2 years to make this. And the video is only about 3.5, 4 minutes long. It's incredible, the amount of detail involved. It follows a story of asteroids hitting the ground. There's some kind of creature comes out and it starts growing, gets bigger, chases after them, and the creature eventually becomes this huge, some people describe it as Godzilla, and it comes right down at you, into your face, and you can see all the children, they're like, whoa, what's going on? And you can see people physically leaning back because they feel like this creature is in their face. And then it gets its little device thing that wants to take itself home, and off it goes. So this was really useful as a way to encourage students to think about how they describe situations. We're giving them a really foreign situation. They've never been in a situation before, and they had to describe what was going on, describe the things around them. We also asked them to describe their feelings, describing how they felt in that situation. And it always starts off, scared, worried. And then as we were developing, they were coming up with words like petrified or terrific, one person said. It's a really strange one. But I think they were talking about the experience of using virtual reality. So again, virtual reality, it really enhances that emotive response to a piece of content. You can show videos, you can read the text, you can act out things, all very good teaching methods. With this and other teaching methods, you are really putting them in that situation. So, how can you bring virtual reality to your classroom? There's a few options. You can download the app, Google Expeditions, onto your devices. If you don't have smaller devices to put into the viewers, have we got the two viewers around here somewhere? Google Cardboard ones, yeah. So you need a device that will fit inside that size viewer. There's a few, well there's lots of different viewers that you can use. Some cardboard, basically all the same, slightly different designs, or there's lots of different designs, plastic models. We prefer to use these Viewmaster VR headsets. They're plastic, they're rugged, you can drop them, they don't break. The cardboard doesn't break, but it does get flimsy after a while. If you're going to create your own kits, you're going to build your own kits, you need to think about the phones. If you're using iPod touches, that's fine. If you're using iPhones, that's fine, if you've got plenty of those. If you're using an Android phone, you need to make sure that that device has got a gyroscope inside. The gyroscope is a small component, allows you to turn the phone and the phone knows which way it's pointing. A lot of the budget Android phones don't have that component inside. So you need to do your research on there. You need a tablet, it could be an Android tablet, it could be an iPad. You need a router. Any standard router will work. If you can get a 5 GHz router, you'll get a faster connection. But the actual speed of the connection isn't too important. You need some way to charge these devices. If you've got lots of extension cables and you plug in each one in, you can't do that, it might be a bit messy. We prefer to go with the option of a USB hub with 10 ports, plug them all in. And you also need some storage. I love this idea that somebody put on the Google Expeditions Google Plus group, which was dishwasher crates. Perfect solution. Just pop them in, stack them up, and that was their storage solution. The other option that you've got is you can buy a kit, and I'm sure there's lots of retailers here that will sell virtual reality kits, so you can go and view them all. Tablet Academy and Stand B160 are one of those companies, and we're selling this kit. It includes all the devices that you need, the router, the phones, the viewers, the USB charging, and it comes with 2 half days of training, all included with the same price. A few tips and tricks. I like to store the devices in the viewers. The only way you can charge them to do that is by cutting a hole in the viewer. So we cut holes in the viewers to plug the chargers in. We also then need to use the spacers to stop the phone from moving around. And the thing I love most, I should have brought one with me, is the magnetic chargers. You can buy a micro USB charger that's got a magnetic tip. The magnet just drops into the hole and it's charging, and then to release it, you pull it out. If you'd like to see an example of that, come see me on the Tablet Academy stand B160 and I can show you. Also, simple things like enabling double tap to wake on an Android phone. Tap the screen twice and it wakes up. If you've got the phone inside the viewer and it's switched on, locked on to sleep, you can press the button on your viewer twice and it wakes up the phone, so you don't need to open it up or take apart the case or anything. And then the final one is the spreadsheet, which I mentioned at the start. If you go to the Google Plus Google Expeditions group, community, beg your pardon, you can find a link there to the spreadsheet, and if you go and see the expedition stand over there, I'm sure they can give you that link. It includes, like I said, all the expeditions that you can use in the app, extra information, and it also links to teaching lesson plans. You can set yourself notifications on there so that it updates you when there's new content that you can go and check out. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed that presentation. If you've got any questions, feel free to come and ask me now, or come and find me on stand B160, or you can contact me on Twitter, Mr. G. Bowman, on Google+, Graham Bowman, or visit our website, tabletacademy.com. If you've got any questions that you'd like to ask around, just pop your hand up. Failing that, come and speak to me over here. Thank you very much.